Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Wendy. And thanks to all of you who are participating. This is the second session. Last week, we looked at the overall planning process, and we went through how do we do defining, researching, and preparing, and finally refining. Today, we're going to talk about, within the execute process, the identify function. So when we looked at threat assessment planning last week, we really went through how we do the definition, and we're pretty specific about how we wanted to make sure that our definition and our problem statement was smart. Today, we're going to talk about threat identification, and we'll be focusing just within the execute section and only on identify. Next week's session will be on mitigate. So the approach that I wanted to take and the approach we use is we spend time up front making sure we've got the right problem definition. Then as we go through the research and the preparation and the refining processes, that becomes part of our plan. So in most situations, and for those of you who are PMPs or have got certifications in any Microsoft areas or Oracle areas or any of the others, or part of some of the cybersecurity areas, all of us emphasize that the first thing you've got to do is plan. And even though the plan, you can make it short or long, but you've got to have some planning in place. So just like in software development, you know the requirements. So we started with the plan. And again, as I said last week, you've got my email address. I am more than happy to help you with any plans you've got, any threat identification you want to do. I'll be glad to review anything for you during these 6 sessions. So please take advantage of it. Send me an email if there's something you'd like me to review for you, and I'd be more than glad to. So this time we're going to really look at the execute, and we're going to go in and continue with our Windows 10 case study. And we're going to do that within the execute phase. So our threat assessment, the use case was for installing the first of 5 control center upgrades, moving from Windows XP to Windows 10 on some new workstations. We talked about the goals last week, and we wanted to make sure that they were specific, and we made them specific to to what we were going to do with the Windows 10 upgrade. We wanted to make sure they were measurable, and in this case, with our goals, we walk through those, and those are all measurable. We wanted to make sure they were achievable and realistic, and that in the end, we could have them timely and do them within the time frame we needed. And in this case, it was 90 degrees. Now, or 90 days rather. And as an update, we really are working on these now. We are actually in the process of getting them finished within the time frame, and it's been very interesting as we go through it. So next week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple minutes and talk about where we are and how we've had to actually revise our threat processes. So this is going to be more interesting, and you get to have the benefit of watching us sweat through doing these real threats and trying to do the real work. The execute phase, when we looked at that first phase last time in the identify, we broke up our threat areas. We identified the threat areas and broke them up into 6 areas. Oil and gas, energy, there were threats there that we could assume there might be. Microsoft in and of itself, industrial control systems, cybersecurity, the physical location, the far western Pacific. COVID-19 was one that just came on our threat radar after I proposed this and had the presentations put together. So threat is a real-time living thing, and COVID-19 was something we had to adjust to as we went through these processes. Again, as I said, SMART drives it. We want to make sure we have specific threats that we identify within the threat areas. If we can't find specific threats, this is kind of the very first test point. If you can't find a set of specific threats, then take that area out. Measurable. Are you going to measure it? Well, if you do find specific threats but you can't measure it, you need to either do some more research or put that in a category of really monitoring only. If you can't measure the relative threat and you can't measure what the process is or what it's going to do to your process, then you're going to have trouble completely mitigating that threat. Is it achievable? Is it in your power to mitigate the threat? If it's not, again, you can put on a threat list, but you can't work it. What you can do is you can inform your senior management. You can inform your clients. You can try and find a way to make it part of your remit, part of what you're responsible for. Realistic. What amount of threat mitigation can you achieve? It's measurable. You can measure what's going to happen. You can estimate what that's going to be, but what amount of that are you going to achieve? We would all like to achieve 100%. And in most cases, we're never going to get to be 100% to achieve, that whole amount. Simple cases just in the area of cybersecurity. I'm sure within your organizations and through your reading, you've looked at a lot of the cybersecurity issues around social engineering. And social engineering is one of the hardest, most unrealistic areas you can get into because you're dealing with people and how they react. So when you look at how realistic is it, if you're doing cybersecurity, you're never going to get to 100% because there's always those issues of social engineering that goes on. You're not going to have everybody trained. You're going to be bringing possibly part-time people in. You're going to have clients who may not be as aware of some of the issues that you are. So you have to really understand what amount of threat mitigation you can achieve. Timely. How do you know when it's done? Do you have a time frame to get it done in our case, with 90 days? The question we always ask is that achievable? And we have to answer, and yes, that's going to be achievable for us. So we've got that. So now let's look at.
Hi there, I hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Malutis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also gaining complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year, but if you use the coupon code LEARN2EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.